The cast members of Blake Lively have stopped remaining silent, and their outspoken criticism of her manipulation is not good for her initial impression. The vibe here is more like they are realizing they backed the wrong horse as this case progresses, and let's just say Blake's Golden Girl era has literally fallen apart before our eyes. Colleen Hoover changed things up, and now Brendan Senner and Isabella Farah are keeping their distance.
So the last time you were talking about the movie It Ends With Us, which has turned into a big major story between Blake and Justin. I'm wondering what you're thinking about that, processing it, navigating it. It doesn't involve you, but because you're in the cast, I'm wondering what you're thinking about.
You are part of the cast. I would like to know what you are thinking about first. Let's begin with Brendan Senner, who plays Atlas in the film. Lively's character Lily, who was her childhood sweetheart in the movie It Ends With Us, was recently promoting his other project, 1923, and living his best life when the inevitable question arose: what was Brandon's opinion on the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni scandal? The way he danced around that question was literally Olympic-level dodging. He did everything but answer, and he hit us with curveballs like, "I just want people to remember why we made the movie line blah 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 BL."
I just want people to remember why we made the movie in the first place and what it stands for, and just keeping the focus on that. Like that movie meant so much to me, and I have someone very, very close to me in my life who's gone through what Lily's going through for a long time, and I've been on the front lines helping her navigate that space. So that movie meant a lot to me, and it means a lot to her, this person in my life, and it was one of the reasons that me doing that film gave her the strength to change her life. So like.
You say focus on that.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. So it's unfortunate that things get taken away from what the ethos of that thing is, and it gets convoluted. And I just want to remind people of why that thing exists in the first place.
First of all, isn't that what Justin Baldwin has been doing ever since he obtained the rights to the book? Even at the film's premiere, when the other members of the cast, including Brandon, were wearing flowers and cheering for Blake, rather than concentrating on the film's true goal, Justin remained focused on his business, refusing to be sent to the basement or have the entire cast follow him. Now, Brandon is essentially just repeating what Justin has been saying all along, stating that the film was intended to have an impact, particularly for those who have experienced domestic violence.
Because none of that matters. None of it. That's not why we're in the business. That's not why the three of us are in this business, is to attend a premiere like that and be celebrated. We're in this business because we're artists and we believe in what we do, and because we want to create art that touches people's hearts and souls and can move people. And that's what we did. That's what you both did. And I believe that will follow each of us, and that truth will prevail, and that light and love will win.
Fortunately, Gayle King decided to cut through the chase and hit the nail on the head when asked directly if he was Team Blake or Team Justin. Here's what he had to say, but let's listen anyway, because it didn't stop there. After all the drama subsided and all the damage was done, the cast has suddenly remembered the movie's purpose, the same one they ignored, and chose to help Blake push her expensive, ineffective shampoo.
I would imagine at this point you're Bennett. You said I'm not in it, but are you Team Blake or Team Justin? He said, I don't speak English, Gayle.
I'm Team It Ends With Us.
And he's Team Taylor and Paramount
Team
Plus.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Got a little nick on his knuckle there.
No. Congratulations, Brendan. I didn't expect you to. I'm just messing with you.
When he said, "I am Team It Ends With Us," that alone shows that the entire cast has jumped shore. While they don't want to publicly state that they are supporting Justin, it's probably just more politically correct for them to act neutral now, which is what they should have done from the beginning, if we're being honest. But just in case you don't understand how big of a deal this is, let me give you the whole story and go back a little, because this is where things get really interesting. Back in December 2024, Brandon was fully behind Blake, even reposting her legal complaint against Justin Baldoni on Instagram with a heart emoji, essentially telling people to believe Blake at all costs. After a few months, he abruptly stops being as outspoken, and others start to question why. It all comes down to us. For heaven's sake, actor Brandon Senner has been standing by his co-star Blake Lively since she accused their director and fellow actor Justin Baldwin of the smear campaign. Reed the Scener wrote on his Instagram story on Wednesday while posting Lively's essay complaint against Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios. Glenner tagged her with a heart emoji on Instagram. This is where we need to talk about how fast Hollywood will switch it up on you. At first it looked like everyone was siding with Blake. She was the bigger star, the bigger name, and when she came out with these accusations against Justin, it seemed like an easy voice, but now the public opinion has shifted. People are looking at the facts, realizing that just because someone's a beloved actress doesn't mean that they're automatically telling the truth. And with more evidence coming out, a lot of people, including her co-stars, have been questioning if they jumped to conclusions too soon. And that's exactly why we now have a completely different response from Brendan Spencer here, as he clearly has no more love emojis for Blake. Now, let's talk about this whole staying neutral narrative, because we all know in Hollywood, neutral, it is just a fancy way of saying I'm waiting to see who wins before I pick a side. The cast members have undoubtedly seen Justin's lawsuit and are being cautious. Nobody is attempting to ruin their own plans over someone else's problems, particularly when the legalese begins to fly. But this is where things start to get sticky. Basically, this will follow Brandon longer than anticipated because people will always want to know why he actively participated in taking down an innocent man, and there are more guys out there. Brandon's initial reactions haven't gone away, so a 50% backtrack won't cut it once you make a position in the court of public opinion. Backpeaning is not limited to Brandon Spencer. The character Isabella Farah, who plays young Lily in the film, has also been notably quiet. She was initially following Blake's lead, but all of a sudden, she is no longer here waving the Blake Lively flag. As you are all aware, when people begin to quietly distance themselves from you, it usually means they have knowledge that we do not. Isabella Farah has been a prominent figure in this scandal, having been mentioned in both Blake and Justin's lawsuits. Baloney's suit includes screenshotted text purportedly from Farah, who wrote, "You are such a wonderful, smart, and sincere director, and you created such a comfortable, safe space for me to feel like I could fully step into this role." Farah also reportedly thanked Baloney for an amazing experience on her first feature film. "I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment, and it will be with me forever." Bond's suit continues to be telling. Fo worked with Baldoni when Lively wasn't on set. Farah didn't feel the need to reject Baldoni in defiance of her kind words until she spent a significant amount of time with Lively during movie promotions. Farah mentioned something in an interview on The Day It Ends With Us, and I now remembered it. First of all, she was genuinely fangirling simply by being around Blake. Not to mention her whole ensemble that day, which included a floral dress, bangles, and shoes, all from Blake.
I need a shot of the outfit, so I'm gonna step aside. The shoes.
And then the bracelets, we've got the earrings, everything. I feel it's crazy.
How do you feel? I know. Are you taking it off?
Yeah, I'm like trying to find words and I actually don't have any words. It's unreal, yeah.
First of all, you are so lily-coated right now with the outfit.
I have to.
Walk me, tell me the story behind the outfit.
Well, I mean, this is all pretty much Blake's styling. She's been my stylist, quite literally.
To be fair, Blake didn't just dangle her dragons over Baloney. She had the entire cast, including Justin, playing by her rules, and they complied. Isabella also had to stick by Blake, especially after Blake made it clear that she only got the role because Taylor Swift pulled strings for her, something we later discovered wasn't entirely true.
Taylor may have had some influence in getting
Yes, she did. Yeah, I know. I don't even know if I'm meant to be saying it, but I'm saying it. Yeah, she was a helpful part of the process of the audition, which I found out later after I got it, and that rocked my world. Yeah.
Since Baldwini began presenting evidence, Isabella has remained largely silent. The majority now think that Brandon Spencer was the one who initially supported Blake because it was safe to do so. Nobody wants to be known as someone who doesn't trust a woman in these kinds of situations. But now that people realize that things aren't so clear-cut, Brandon doesn't want to sink with the ship. Another issue that's been coming up since Glenn's interview is the influence Blake had on the cast members. Clearly, it was greater than what Justin could ever do for their careers. If anything, the only reason Blake got away with so much was because even Justin knew his career could be on the line if he didn't play nice with her. That is exactly how we ended up with Ryan Reynolds' version of the rooftop scene in the first place. Let's be for real, going against Blake meant going against Taylor Swift. and Ryan Reynolds, and there's a reason why Blake involved them in the equation. We're talking about people who have enough power to shift and shut entire careers. Like if Ryan decides that he is done with someone, it's for them. So when people say, oh, the cast members are just waiting to see how this plays out, what they really mean is they're being careful enough to still be in the industry's good books when the dust settles. And honestly, I can't even blame them. The second you go against the machine, you better have an army behind you, because Hollywood does not do loyalty. I mean, look at Diddy. Come to think about it, given that Brandon's most recent statement essentially indicates that she no longer has the backup that she believed she had, calling Hoover is long gone, and she most likely just realized she overplayed her hand. Blake's world must be collapsing right now. Hollywood is a game of alliances, and right now it's clear that her allies are getting fewer by the day, and y'all, this is only the beginning of the fallout. It turns out that Brandon and Isabella's shifting gears paved the way for more people, because Blake Lively's publicist Leslie Sloan also wants out on this messy lawsuit. She has made a formal request to be removed completely. Of course, it's too late for that, but she has realized it's not going to end well for her. For those who missed it, here's how Leslie got caught up in this mess. It was from baloney that we learned that allegedly Leslie Sloan was the mastermind behind the scenes, pulling the strings for Hollywood's elite. She is making power moves, cleaning up their messes, and making sure that their bad PR disappeared. That's exactly why Blake turned her down when she wanted to take Baldoni down, but at what cost? Because Leslie's name ended up getting dragged through the mud, and these new receipts are making her look even worse. Sources: the extent to which Sloan has gone to silence whistleblowers, manipulate narratives, and even discredit Justin Baldwin were shocking emails and leaked messages that demonstrated a clear attempt to frame Baldwin while maintaining Blake's reputation. It was revealed that Sloan had allegedly planned a cover-up to shield Blake from the repercussions of her own actions. Leslie had no problem throwing anyone under the bus if it meant preserving her client's image. An anonymous insider claimed she knew exactly what she was doing, and she did it without hesitation. This was probably around the time that baloney started getting bad press, something his lawyer has even included in their lawsuits. They've got receipts proving that the smear campaign against Justin was planned long before the New York Times dropped that disturbing article on him. Now that's how powerful, connected, and ruthless Sloan is allegedly, but suddenly she wants her name wiped from Baldwin's case because teaming up with Blake might be her downfall. But unlike Sliner, Sloan is in the lawsuit, so she does not get to choose if she wants in or out. She's in. Not only is she set to testify, but she's about to blow through all the money Blake paid her just to cover her legal fees that, by the way, she's demanding for Justin Baldoni to pay. As more evidence surfaces, the truth becomes undeniable. Baloney had been set up, and the real masterminds were none other than Leslie Sloan and Blake. Despite the false accusations and relentless attacks on his character, he stood firm, refusing to be just another victim of Hollywood's power games. And judging by how these cast members are jumping ship since Justin began exposing Blake and Sloan, people's perceptions have drastically changed. And the fact that people feel duped has just made things worse for them. Blake's assertions are looking real. Blake and Ryan were now frantically trying to have Justin's lawsuit dismissed. Their legal team had already submitted a motion to dismiss the $400 million defamation case in an attempt to avoid the situation becoming worse. But let's face it, this move was giving nothing like that could occur right now.
Why not take a bite at the apple, see if you can get either the entire complaint or parts of it dismissed? So I don't anticipate any dismissals at this point.
Blake most likely didn't realize how serious the situation was, because she was even acting as though she could choose who could question her. She even implied that she might decline to take a deposition if Justin's lawyer Brian Friedman was involved. But the truth is that's not how this works. Legal experts were already making fun of her for this week's attempt, making it apparent that no judge was going to consider that nonsense.
Blake Lively has no power whatsoever to determine who's going to depose her. That's kind of a silly demand, and no judge is ever going to abide by that. She has to sit for the deposition.
Even though the damage has already been done, everyone in Blake's camp is frantically trying to protect their reputations by keeping as far away from Blake as possible, even though they know that if this case proceeds as expected, they are in for a rude awakening. What do you think? Are people finally realizing Blake's manipulation, or is there more to the story? At this point, Blake and Ryan's entire defense has been looking shaky, and more people are siding with Justin, especially after stories surfaced about his kindness, such as letting someone stay at his house after losing everything in the recent law fires. Please leave a comment below, because I need to know what you guys think. Then hit subscribe Turn on alerts and stay tuned because I'll be updating you on every development since this drama isn't going to end anytime soon.